Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And you know what, we got some great work done on our tower the last few episodes, but before we can do too much interior design work, we gotta think a little bit about what we need to actually accomplish those sorts of goals. Now, in this case, the answer is, whoa. In particular, we're gonna need some cacti. Now, I've got a whole little botanical room over here that I use to store all my extra plant matter and whatnot. So I'm sure, although, why am I... Okay, I seem to be magic floating somehow. If I have a single extra cactus here, we can start work on a cactus farm. Oh, good. Well, that'll save me some trouble. I really thought we were going to have to go on some sort of lost and found cactus seeking adventure. So now that we've got the cacti, where should we place them? You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, well, Joe, if you put your sugarcane over here, clearly that's a good place for your cactus. Well, it would be if literally any of the sugarcane had grown. So yeah, we've got this whole little valley here that we haven't really done anything with. We've got this area here that apparently I really needed some sand at some point, and I just kind of messed up. Sorry, this area. Let's see. Around that way, I'm not sure how much sand there is. Let's go grab our boat and check it out. I'll be boating round the mountain as I row. I'll be rowing round the mountain as I go. I am looking round this mountain, and it's not exactly a fountain of places for a cacti to go. Or a cactus, if you were gonna singularly, properly spell it alphabetically. Or at least depluralization is a part of the education of somebody who's smarter than me. Yeah, this is just not a good place for cacti. I keep coming back to... I've got that little area over there that I wrecked. Maybe I should just fix that. Yeah, why don't I just start planting the cacti along here? And then what I'll do is I'll go find sand from other places. Like, whoa, that little sand island that we were visiting the other day. I'll just grab enough sand to fill that in, and then that'll all be fine. So one thing I wanted to talk about is the idea that you always need to have an absolutely perfect plan. You know, when somebody says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or how are you gonna, like, oh, you want to be a scientist, or you want to be an astronaut, or you want to do this. How are you going to do that? And, like, it's important that you have a general plan working toward any goal. Like, I had a general plan to find wherever I was before and head there, and I'm generally kind of in the area, but you don't have to get everything absolutely right. You don't have to know every piece in advance. You know, and people were talking about the other day, like, hey, what was Gandalf's actual plan to kill Smaug? And Smaug, in the context of the story of The Hobbit, is a dragon. Now, in some cities, Smaug is a really bad air pollution problem, and is also terrifying. So, you know, if you guys live somewhere that you have a real problem with Smaug, I hope you are taking appropriate measures with, like, masks and air filters and stuff. But anyway, so, Smaug is this dragon in the Hobbit story, and, spoiler alert, if you have not read The Hobbit, which, I mean, came out, like, a long time ago, the dragon dies at the end, and the wizard that set up the dwarves to go fight the dragon, or whatever, seemed to have no actual plan for killing the dragon. And that really bothers some people. And it's like, well, how did he know that this was going to happen? How did he know he was going to get so lucky? And I think, honestly, that Gandalf wasn't trying to kill the dragon. He sent these dwarven adventurers there because he wanted to stop the dragon from teaming up with Sauron, right? So, like, Sauron, for those of you guys who have not read the Lord of the Rings books, is this, like, lieutenant of an ancient evil named Melkor, who, after Melkor was driven from Middle-earth, Sauron decided he would be the next Dark Lord on the Dark Throne or whatever. And then he got destroyed. He got beaten. Somebody cut off his ring, and he pretended to die. But basically, Sauron is a big ol' has-been. Nobody cares about Sauron. Gandalf is like the only person that possibly cares about Sauron. And he's all running around trying to stop Sauron from coming back into power. But, you know, anybody else was like, he doesn't tell people, oh, I gotta stop Sauron from coming back into power. Because everybody just be like, dude, nobody's worried about Sauron. Guy's dead. We cut off his ring, and he died a long time ago, and we're not gonna worry about it, right? But Gandalf has this idea that, like, well, if Sauron recruits Smaug the dragon, then we're all in trouble. So I need to send this adventurer party there who wants to steal some stuff from the dragon, and I'll hope it all works out. And that sounds like really specious logic. Some would even say specious. But you know what? I think that sort of naivete is just precious, because really, Gandalf's plan was not to kill the dragon. It was to stop the dragon from teaming up with Sauron. And how do you stop a dragon from teaming up with some guy? Well, you might say, but Sauron's not just some guy. He was the Dark Lord. It's like, yeah, he was. He was the Dark Lord. Sauron's a huge has-been that the dragon is not going to be impressed by, okay? Sauron can't force the dragon to work with him. He has to convince the dragon to work with him. So you might say, okay, well, what does a dragon want? Well, he wants treasure. He's, like, sitting in the Lonely Mountain with a huge old pile of treasure. He has treasure. Treasure is not in short supply for the dragon Smaug. So then what else do dragons like? Well, you know, they like fighting a little bit to get treasure. Okay, so then there's the angle of, like, Sauron could come in and say, well, if you fight for me, you can earn more treasure from the kingdoms that we defeat. But really, here's the problem with that, is that, like, Smaug has so much treasure that it would not take very much to just completely derail him from, pursuing more. Really, as long as, like, Smaug isn't super bored, he's gonna stay where he's at. And so, if Gandalf sends in, like, 14 guys or whatever to go rob him, there's a few ways that could go. Now, Thorin Oakenshield might say, oh, we're gonna go in and we're gonna grab enough treasure to raise an army and kill the dragon. But Gandalf is not gonna think that that's very likely. That's like a ludicrously unlikely best-case scenario. That would be wonderful if it happened, but if it doesn't come to pass, then, that's fine. So, realistically, though, the things that are likely to happen is either the adventuring party goes in, they steal one or two things, and they get away. And then they brag about it and get free drinks in every tavern for the rest of their lives because they have this awesome story about escaping a dragon. And everybody's, like, really impressed, and Thorin feels like he didn't let his dad down because he went back and reclaimed at least some of the family treasure, or whatever. And that's great. Gandalf would be completely successful if that happened. Because, let's say that the dragon notices something was stolen, and then Sauron sends his emissaries to be like, oh, hey, great dragon Smaug, you want to join us in our quest to conquer Middle-earth? You know what Smaug is going to say? He's going to say, you're on fire now, and I didn't even hear that. Because he's going to be so paranoid about anyone coming anywhere near his mountain, he's going to burn them to death on sight. Which is great for Gandalf, because Gandalf has no plans to get anywhere near that mountain. But Sauron does. Sauron has to send his emissaries, and, Smaug will just kill him. Boom. Easy peasy. So, Gandalf wins, even with only, like, one piece of minor treasure stolen, just because of the great dragon's paranoia and anger, If Sauron himself showed up to ask for, the dragon's help at that point, the dragon would just be like, no. Like, he might not be able to physically destroy Sauron completely without the, destroying the One Ring, which is established in the lore as pretty important, but the dragon would still be able to physically repel Sauron and be like, I don't just want any treasure, I want my treasure. And, he knows this is where the action is. His hoard is what people are after, and that he has to sit on it for possibly a few centuries until, he's sure that people are scared of him enough to, like, leave it be. So, basically, Gandalf will have sidelined this great dragon for centuries by sending in 14 guys to steal some stuff. That's a pretty good deal. Now, you might say, but Joe, what if they died? What if those guys go in there and they died? Wouldn't that be bad? Wouldn't that ruin Gandalf's plan? No, because Gandalf's plan does not require killing the dragon. Dragon sees 14 guys, kills them all, and goes, there might be more guys coming. people think I'm weak. Nope, I've got to hang out here and guard my treasure indefinitely. So, you know, that's just going to work. This is not a big problem for Gandalf. Now, Gandalf is a nice person, so he went ahead and he sent along a hobbit to be a thief. Dang it, you can't use bone meal on these. He sent along a hobbit to be a thief, like, as a kindness, which is one of those things where he's like, well, this will increase the odds that the dragon is sidelined because everyone lived, instead of, you know, the dragon is sidelined because everybody died. And that's a nice thing to do. And sometimes kindness pays dividends. If you look at it, he had no idea that the hobbit was going to find the One Ring. He had no idea that the dragon was going to end up dead. Like, these were all just, like, huge fringe benefits of an already solid plan. And one of my Twitter followers, I believe it was Mike Sugarbaker, who has commented on previous YouTube videos of mine, pointed out, and Gandalf was so ludicrously lucky and successful in this endeavor that he knew he could never top it and immediately retires at the end of Lord of the Rings. And I think that's about right. Yeah, that's about right. So, yeah. If people are like, you know, what's your plan to do this? You should have a plan. And it should be a plan that will work no matter which way a lot of things go. Because that's the thing. Gandalf knew there were a lot of different points for failure in his plan. And he did his best to route around that. But, you know, he still had a plan that was very resilient. And it just ended up being ludicrously more successful than anticipated. So, you know, I'd like to just suggest that, you know, if you say, hey, I have this thing I want to do with my career. Okay. Make plans that will work whether or not, like, everything works out. And then maybe you'll get lucky and things will work out perfectly, and maybe it won't, but you'll still have fallback plans and ways to accommodate, you know, wherever you do end up. You know, I'm not saying, like, you need to devote a lot of energy or effort to maintaining 15 plans in 15 different directions, but, like, find one direction to head toward and a plan that gives you a lot of flexibility along that, what's the word for that, where you have 2 points and one of them goes on infinitely? I know it's technically a ray, but if you have, it's a vector. Yes, you need to have victory. You need to think vectorally. Think about that vector. Think about all the opportunities and all the things that could go right or wrong along that vector, and make sure your plan's resilient. So, anyway, what was I doing? I was making a very slow cactus farm because apparently you can't use bone meal on cactus. That seemed like a good idea at the time. But while we wait on the cactus to actually grow, we're probably going to want to do some castle work. Now, I was looking inside the castle, and what do I actually need? I'm so busy talking about Lord of the Rings, I'm forgetting to think about the things that I need to do. As you can tell by my inventory, I've realized what I forgot was, in fact, iron. I need to put some iron armor on some statues, or armor stands, I guess, at least. And I also need to grab some beetroot, because beetroot makes an excellent source of red dye, and we are going to have a lot of red wool we need to make for various reasons. So let's just go ahead and take these beetroot seeds and those beetroot seeds, all the seeds, and we're just going to plant these with an aggressive agrarian, I was going to say lilt, but that's more like an accent. I don't really do accents. With our beetroot fields replanted and our rose red dye in hand, I think it's time we set off. And hopefully we'll land somewhere over yonder castle wall. Although we glide, we still yet fall a little faster than I'd like, or maybe precisely as I intended. Psych! Okay, so we're gonna just go right here, through this door. Oh, almost so cool. Big part of being so cool is getting stuff right, you know. There we go. Getting our armor on these guys is gonna make this whole room feel a lot more kind of intimidating. This is supposed to be like the servants' entrance for like deliveries. Like if you ever watched Downton Abbey, they had that back courtyard where like they would bring in the bags of flour and stuff through. That's this. You know, you got your carriage house there. You got these gates open up. People bring deliveries in here. We're going to have a book on the table once we can actually have a book on the table. It's not available in this current snapshot. Then we go down here, got our basement storeroom with our wine cellar. You know, I should probably put some, I was going to say I should put some more barrels in here, but it looks like I also need to put in some more kind of holders for the barrels. So we need to come back here with some fences. As much work as I've been getting done around here, it turns out that cacti take a while to grow. You know, you might think, hey Joe, you've been working on all these little pieces, you've been improving and upgrading and all that. I'm sure these cacti are just ready for you to harvest. Nope. No readiness. No cacti appreciable growth. So, instead what we're going to do is we're going to run over to our good friend Iskel's base, which I don't think I've even ever been to. So, hopefully our experience in the Nether will not be a terrifying one. Maybe I should bring, like, some stuff with me, just in case. Or maybe I should bring nothing with me, just in case I die. I don't know. Yeah, let's just go with what we had. Time skip. Well, I'm in the Hermitcraft Nether Hub, and I'm realizing I have no idea which one of these exits is Iskel's. I'm hoping that he's got some sort of sign. I think that's false symmetry, because you see there's no symmetry in the horns there. So that's probably hers. Let's see about this one. This one has red boots. I think this leads to Asuma's base, so I'm not sure about that. Well, neither of these are Iskel either. It looks like all the other hermits are building these elaborate maps where they, like, build this in like, blocks on the surface somewhere and then fly around it with a map, and then they get, like, a cool drawing. Maybe I should do that for my base. Whoa. Dang it. Okay, now I've fallen. But not to my death, I hope. Let's see. You know, I think after looking at all of these, there's an orange and black one here that should take us to Rendog's base. And I believe Rendog and Iskel are like pals. So let's see, if I take this, can I pop up on there with the boat? Jumping does nothing. Okay. We're going to try this a different way. We're going to hit it with bread till it snaps. I hear a portal like right here. I don't know where that's supposed to go. But yeah, let's follow this. And hopefully by going to Rendog's base, we can find our way to Iskel's base. Whoa. Okay, we're going to turn without turning all the way. Yeah. Hey, I like this. Wow, that was actually a really quick, short hop. Oh, it's also interesting the way he framed this. He actually dug all that out. Oh, wow. And this looks fairly perilous. So this is apparently the old... This is how we used to get around the Nether. Now it looks like this. Okay, cool. And let's just make sure these aren't full of cacti. Yeah, they are not. That's a pretty cool portal there. Whoa, is everything orange and... Wow. Ren really... This is very stylized. Hey, there's that gigantic cactus farm. Let's go check that out before the sun goes down, and then we turn into vampires. Just kidding. Turn into werewolves. No, I don't know. It has to be a full moon for that. I like this sign. I don't know what it communicates, but it really says something to me. Anyway, let's go ahead over this way. And this cactus farm, so promising. Oh, I just noticed you use concrete powder for all the ground, too. That's pretty cool. Very interesting stylization. Now, in theory, all I need is like one stack of cacti, and then I can cook them and make the green dye I need. So, this thing probably produces enough cacti that one stack wouldn't really be a problem. If I was going to build a chest area connected to this farm, let's see, where would it go? Looks like all the water goes into the center with the cacti. So, that means wherever the farm drops everything out is probably down somewhere. So is there an entrance to underneath the farm? Well, looky here. There's an exit from the farm that goes into these hoppers. Boom, okay. There's an exit to that farm, whatever that one is. Because I'm not sure how quickly this replenishes itself, I'm just going to go ahead and take like 32 cacti. That should really be enough for the wool I need to make right now. You know, half a stack, and oh, I see one just popped right in there. That's good. So I figure what I should probably do in order to replenish the cacti that I've taken is I should hang out in the general area around here and let the farm grow for a minute. So why don't we just take a second and appreciate this base. We're going to enjoy a little... Dang it, where'd my bread go? Enjoy a little Nami snack here. Just kind of look through, seeing what we see. Huh, he's got a little farm over there. Sort of... Ooh, storage system over here. That's interesting. Some sort of yummy lollipop bumblebee thing there. Looks like even more farms off that way in the distance. Ooh, what is this? It looks like... I don't know what this is, but it looks cool. Maybe... You know, I've heard them talk about some sort of a scalium reactor. What is making that noise? That sounds like the noise... Sounds like the noise that, like, bad guys make when they're about to shoot you with lightning. Why am I hearing the bad guy shooting you with lightning noise? Whoa, wait. Is that part over there built on, like, an ancient alien temple? Also, should I maybe not dive directly into it? You know what? Probably should not have jumped directly into it. But, like, if there were gonna be aliens making lightning noises, they'd probably be over here, right? Like if this was one of those undersea temple things. But I don't hear the noise. The noise is gone now. So that's something. I could ask False, hey False, can you give me a tour of Rendog's base? And she would go, no Joe, that's very silly. I haven't even really visited False's base. Oh wait, there's a map over there. So this is actually a pretty neat map of his base. I like it. It's very visual. You know, unlike those maps that are just text descriptions of whatever they're describing. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of like a map in a Super Mario World game. So I enjoy that. I also like the little crescent moon up at the top. Like, it's very stylized. It makes me think the night is still young. So, or at least the month is. But where were we? We are going to go ahead and probably find our way out. I'm sure that the cacti have grown enough since we have been wandering around here. And so we are going to pop on off this way. If we are not already lost again. I really thought that this was it. Dang it. Okay, getting lost in people's bases. There it is. That's the portal. Okay, I hear that noise again. That sounds like the laserfish alien noise. Am I going crazy? Wait, are there laserfish aliens in here? Yeah, they spawned up there and then they fell down there. Oh, so he's harvesting laserfish somehow. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Rendog, for your kind gift of half a stack of cacti. And thank you for letting us visit your base and see all the wondrous things that you have wrought. Cacti skip. Away we go. Back to the base of Joe. Oh man, if I knew or ever knowed. That Rendog was so close. I'm really stuck in this wall. Okay, this boat ramp is problematic. Cacti skip. Like cacti. So we are back in the guest lounge here, and, you know, it mentions in the books that 3 lanterns hang from heavy beams that support the ceiling. I was thinking, like, if I was going to have 3 lanterns, do I need 3 beams, or do I need 1 beam going across? Like, is it... I think in some ways it's better if the beam comes straight across here, but like in the middle. But the problem is that's 1 beam that does not communicate the concept of beams plural. So I don't know. If I come out of the middle here, this is not a odd-numbered count of blocks. So we really can only do 2 beams, and then how are we going to do 3 lanterns? So that's troubling in its own way. Let's just hang all 3 lanterns from one beam across here. That's just going to be the simplest thing. Although, you know, we could also have beams running along these, I guess. Kind of just give it a little space there. Dang it, beam. You had one job. You got it all mixed up. This is supposed to be, once again, disturbing vampire castle, so not everything has to be in, like, the right place. So, yeah. 3 ornate lanterns hang from the window, or hang from the beams. Good deal. Maybe they could be more ornate. We'll figure it out later. Now, there's supposed to be overstuffed chairs and couches kind of throughout the room. I was kind of thinking that, like, I could kind of just hint at that by having, like, stuff like this, kind of, you know, little things you could sit on, look fun, that sort of thing. So we're going to come into our guest bedroom here, and traditionally the bed would be on this wall, but with the way that Minecraft physics works, it would be very hard to walk around the bed once we had the 4 corner posts in. So what I'm thinking of doing is setting the bed in here, like so, on the south wall instead, and then we can kind of set up our posts like this. Whoops, dang it. We're going to want to remove any extraneous posts, just like we're cleaning out our Instagram. And then we're going to have these black banners kind of hanging like this, kind of around it. It's not perfect. Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I thought it might look a little bit better if we made these clearly planks here on the corners. And then we can also use the gray wool to make a bed skirt in a minute by running out here. So this is going to match the sheets. You know, maybe actually using a light gray would work better for the bed skirt, just to give us a little bit more color. So we're going to go ahead and make a bunch of light gray banners. And we're going to skirt the bed, kind of like that. And we can even then put a headboard style thing going on back here. Alright, so I think we can call this room pretty much done. We've got cushions in place in case anybody wants to keep watch overnight while the rest of the party rests. We have this lounge coming along pretty well with its offset lanterns. There's supposed to be a huge bookshelf here. We don't have that in place yet, but book collection is going to be a major process for this. Because this castle, I need so many bookshelves, and I need a looting sword first. I need to go get a looting sword and then worry about the cattle. Now, one last thing I did want to do is I did want to check out in the cauldron room here, K56, before we close out the episode. I wanted to see how plausible it would be to set up a burning cauldron in this space. And so we're going to just hop down here. And actually for that one, I think we would want a netherrack, right? So we put the netherrack here. We're going to put our flint here. And then we can just set our cauldron... Oh, actually, no, we need something for the cauldron to lean against. So, something like that. Interesting, that doesn't connect. I would have sworn that that would be a connecting texture there. But, yeah, we can just, well, we don't have to do that. And we don't have to put anything in the cauldron quite yet. But, core concept, we now do have a cauldron that actually functions in the cauldron room. And that fire lets us get rid of these torches. So, that's a net bonus. Anyway, I have been recording long enough. I gotta wrap this episode up. Thank you guys so much for joining me as we continue work on these spaces. You know, there's still so much left to do. K55, element room. Heavy beams support the ceiling of this large room, the outer wall of which curves to follow the shape of the tower. Yes, several tables stand throughout the room, weighted down by stacks of glass jars and bottles. Okay, so yeah, we'll come back in. We'll set up some stuff with that. Plenty of things to do, but can't do it today. Today is over. Well, for me anyway. So until next time, y'all. This is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. keep adventuring.